What's happening?
Dude, what's up? We got 100 people waiting on you.
Damn, this is crazy. Look at that. This is like, is this just, we have this many people here because everyone's sad about PropStream and they want to learn how to comp from batch? Is that what's happening?
Probably. Let's throw it up there for them.
Also, welcome to my Flip Me family that is here on the call with us. They should be coming in shortly. I was just on the Flip Me coaching call, guys. If any of you are fixing and flipping, did I change my camera? I did. I got a better camera. If any of you guys are fixing and flipping, you got to check out the most incredible fix and flip community that exists. Flip Me, that's where Pace, myself, Rahima, my sister, and Laura Morby, Pace's wife, all four of us are your coaches. It is incredible. It is geared and focused towards fixing and flipping. And this is where we evaluate properties to see whether or not they're going to be a good enough deal for us to fix and flip. I'm looking for Rosalia. Is Rosalia in the comments? Are you here, Rosalia? Say hi.
Where's she at?
Rosalia, are you here? Maybe not. Okay, well, keep an eye out for Rosalia if you see her, Emily, because she had a question for me and I wanted to help her out. But welcome. And hey, Rosalia, how are you? Are we able to add her on if we want, if she has her camera? Can we add her into this stream? I want see if she's got a question.
Yeah, Rosalia, if you want to put your email in the chat, then I can email you the link and we can pull her up. But
that, Rosalia, or you could type out your question and I can answer it here, but I'm glad to see you here. We're incredibly grateful to have all 120 of you on the stream right now. Straight Outta Compin is back, and we will be back every Sunday for 2022. This is an incredible opportunity for us to do this thing called comping. Now, why is comping important, guys? Because I can tell you that people who quit this business of real estate investing usually quit because they get this part of it wrong. This part of it wrong, okay? Understanding value is the most important thing when we are evaluating deals, especially if we're fixing and flipping, right? So for all you guys from Flip Me, these appraisal rules are extremely important. Okay, these are the rules that we follow when we are determining value on a property. So, thank you, Emily, for putting this up on the screen. When we are comparing two properties, we want to make sure that our subject property and our comparable property are in the same subdivision. We also want to make sure that we are only comparing properties that are with plus or minus 200 square feet in difference from each other. Now, I've been breaking this rule a little bit, Emily. I've been going to plus or minus 250, sometimes 300 square feet, just because there are so few sales this year because of inventory shrinkages that we're starting to see appraisers starting to get a little bit more flexible. So this value, this plus or minus 200 square feet, I have been going about plus or minus 250 square feet just because there's fewer and fewer comps with what we've been seeing happening in the market. Remember, guys, we only want to compare properties that are of the same property type, okay? So if you've got a rancher, you only want to compare it with a ranch. If you've got a two-story, you only want to compare it with a two-story. If your subject property is in a historic district, then your comp needs to be in a historic district. I hope that's all making sense. The next thing, guys, is if you are comparing properties to each other, you do not want to cross any major roads, okay? So if you've crossed a major road, you very likely left your subdivision and your comp may not be viable. And this rule here, this plus or minus 5 years, I've also been breaking this rule a little bit. I have been going plus or minus 10 years. Again, plus or minus 10 years, and that's after having hundreds of conversations with appraisers I have found that nationally, okay, this is nationally, appraisers have been going plus or minus 10 years. So you can get a little bit more loose with this 5 years of construction, plus or minus 5 to 10 years. Now, again, if you are comparing properties that don't have exact matches, like say for instance, you're comparing a 3-bedroom, 2-bath to a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, then you need to adjust for the bedroom. A bedroom is worth plus or minus $10,000 to $25,000. A bathroom is worth plus or minus $10,000. A pool is worth plus or minus 10K. So if you have a pool, your subject doesn't have a pool, your subject property is worth 10K less. Okay. So even though it costs us $30,000 to install a pool, an appraiser will only ever give it $10,000 in value. A garage is worth around $10,000. A carport is worth around $5,000. And then last but not least, guys, don't forget to make adjustments if you have traffic or commercial or multifamily near your property. If you are siding a busy road, you have to subtract $10,000 from your value if your property is worth $350K or less. If you are backing a major road, you have to make an adjustment of around $10,000. If you are fronting a major road, then you are adjusting up to $20K. And then again, guys, if you have a basement or an additional dwelling unit like a guest house, appraisers will mainly only give you about 50% of value. Now, Rosalia's question, because I promised her that I'd start there, question was, we spoke about polished concrete floor today in my Flip Me coaching call, and she's flipping in Connecticut, and she doesn't see polished concrete in a lot of those designs. If she doesn't see it in her market, is that the right design choice for her area, Rosalia? Amazing question. If you are not seeing polished concrete being used as a material in your area, don't use it. Your market and the design characteristics of your market are going to be seen. And this is what I'd love to tell you to do. I always get ideas for where our flips should go by looking at multi-million-dollar luxury remodels or new builds. So even though I'm not using the same materials, let's just say in a $1 million or in a $400,000 flip here in Arizona, I'm going to get ideas from $1 million builds to use in my $300,000 or $400,000 house. So Rosalia, what I would suggest you do is just go look at the $1 million, $2 million, $3 million price points in Connecticut and see what kind of material choices are they going with. What are they using for color schemes? If you start to see concrete at that price point, maybe concrete will start trending into the lower price points in Connecticut. But if you're not seeing it, then I would highly suggest not using it. And it could also be because of weather. Polished concrete is a very cold material. Very, very, very cold. And I know Connecticut has some extreme winters. It might be that they don't use concrete there because it just sucks the warmth out of a house. And that could very well be the reason why. So Rosalia, great question. You definitely want to make sure that you're improving to the market standards that you're in, and polished concrete just might not be the right material choice for you out in Connecticut. Thanks for that question. Now I think it's time for us to get to some Compin. Holy crap, we got 150 people. What's happened, Emily?
I don't know. I think people missed you and they missed Comping.
I think they might have missed you.
They might have.
Well, anyways, if we can all just give Emily a lot of love for taking time out of her Sunday. I want to share with you guys just how grateful I am for having Emily on my team. In the last year, Emily's been working with me for a year, guys. She just came on to her year anniversary with me. And she's been an incredible resource, right? She's been an incredible resource to me. She's been an incredible resource to our family here, our communities. And just, I wanted to say that from the bottom of my heart and from everybody here that's watching, Emily, you're so appreciated. You are so valued. You are an incredible asset to all of us. And just thank you. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for donating your time. Thank you for being the incredible human being that you are. We love you.
I love you, Jamil, and I love being on your team. It's been a wild year, and I can't wait for many to come.
Awesome.
But we have a perfect question that's a segue into comping.
Awesome.
Christina asked, what do you recommend for comping with PropStream being ridiculous now?
Cancel. And go to batch leads. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm not mad at PropStream. In fact, I really love I love all people that are in business. I love all businesses. I don't have any like negative feelings to PropStream, but here's what's up. Okay, here's what's happened. PropStream is no longer giving us sold MLS data. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means that you have to, and I've seen there was another educator, influencer. I'm not going to name him because he's a great friend of mine and I love him very much, but I do disagree with him. Okay. He said that you should look at actives and pendings to get your comps. That is not correct, guys. A comp is a closed property. An active does not tell you anything. An active is a wish, and a pending is a maybe. A comp is a comp, and it's only a comp if it's been sold. So batch leads still has access to all of the sold data, guys, all of it. It is not true that batch leads also lost MLS data. That wasn't a true statement from PropStream. And Alfredo, if PropStream is still giving you sold comps in California, try clearing your cache or clearing your cookies, because those are old solds. Anything new won't be populated on your PropStream because they have canceled their access to that data. And so that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because PropStream decided that they wanted to go to serving a different market, I believe. I think that PropStream is gearing more towards servicing the real estate agent segment of our industry rather than wholesalers. And that's okay. That's totally okay. That's their prerogative. And that's fine. But batch leads definitely has your back. So with all that said, let's comp some houses, man. And go to batchleads.io/Jamil and try it out for a week. Just give it a try. And it's not only non-disclosure states, it's all states. That question from Vlay or Vlay, is this it only in non-disclosure states? In all states, PropStream is no longer giving us sold comps, sold data.
All right, guys. Start sending these addresses.
Yes, let's get into some comping. And yes, this is an interesting. PropStream said batch leads is lying and misleading. I mean, I definitely know the owners of batch leads. Okay. I don't know the owners of PropStream anymore because PropStream is owned by Security Title. I don't know the owners of Security Title. Okay. But what I can say, Sloan, is that I have looked at the back end of what batch leads is using to get sold comps, and I can promise you that they are not lying. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to say negative things about Prop or anybody, but I can promise you that batch still has access to all that data and continues to have access to all that data. So thank you, Chris. Yes, hit the like button, guys. And if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel already, please subscribe. Now, let's look at some houses. Yes, you can run comps on the base plan of batch leads. You absolutely can. Cool beans.
All righty. We're getting some addresses in here.
I know, it's cool. We got nearly 180 people on the live so far. That's incredible. Guys, this is great.
I know, this is awesome.
Okay, you have an address for me?
I do. It's in Florida.
Okie dokie, on we go.
On we go.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. I am ready for the address.
Okay. 230 Payne Road, Payne, and that's in Pensacola.
Pensacola. $230 Payne Road, built in 2006. This is a 2008 square foot house. I imagine it's either 3 or 4 bedrooms just based on its size. It is not listed here on Batch how many bedrooms this is. It is a 2-bathroom house, 2-story, does have a garage, does have a pool, sitting on an 8364 square foot lot. Let's see what it's worth. Batch's value estimate is $368. $368. Boom. Okay, so guys, what I like to do here, for those of you that are wondering, what am I pressing here on Batch? I like to just increase my solds to 24 months, even though I'm not going to use an old comp. I like to get more data points just to get an idea of where pricing is trending. I like to just change this to built within 30 years so I can get more data points again. And again, over here, I go plus or minus 50% in square feet just so I can get more data points. So now that we do that, I hit filter and it refreshes and it gives me more data. As you'll see here, there'll be more solds. There you go. Now let's take a look. Our subject property is the one here that is got the star. And there's not a ton over on this little peninsula here that we can look at. So this may not be an easy one for us to comp using Batch. What I will do is I'm going to give this a shot on Zillow to see if I can find any good comps there. And again, here's what I want to say. If Batch was not able to get access to MLS data, how is Zillow? Zillow still has access to all the data, and PropStream had also said that all third-party resellers were not going to have access to it, and Zillow still has access to all the sold data. So I'd be very cautious about the things that you believe. There's a reason why they are spinning the narrative the way they are. Again, I don't know the reason for it, but just beware. Okay, 2008 square feet. This estimate 311 here. Let's see what we got for solds. Okay, here's our subject. 2008 square feet. Now, this 460 is basically backing the water, so we don't want to use anything there. We want to find our comp on an interior lot here. There's a 248, but this is a single story, so I don't feel like this is one that we can use. Let's keep looking. Remember, we've got about 2,000 square feet. But it is a 2-story, and it doesn't seem to have a ton of 2 stories in the area over here. Here's one, another single story, though. Fully remodeled, but it sold for $425, which is an indication that we might have a decent ARV if we can find a 2-story comp. Here's a 2-story. Looks like a nice remodel. It's not backing the water, but it does back this little green space here. But it shows us that around 2,300 square feet is selling at around 385. So this is a great one for us to use because, again, we have a 2-story property ourselves. So this tells us that we are north of around 300. Let's see if we can find any more evidence of that, guys. Here's a 299. Single story. So this kind of tells us that the 300 number, again, it's not necessarily going to show us that it's higher than 300, but it does give us some indication, again, that 300 is the right number. Let me again see if I can find anything else here to confirm that. That's too large. I'm looking for something 300 or higher, and I feel like we might be it. So that's it. I'm going to call that about a 305 ARV. Now in Pensacola, you probably want to be, for a cosmetic remodel, at about 65% of that. So if you're at 305 ARV at 65%, I'd be offering them around 200K on that property.
Awesome. Next one is in Dallas, Georgia.
Okay.
Okay.
Check it out. What's the address?
4948 Villa Rica Highway.
Spell it.
Villa. Oh, you got it? Perfect.
Yep.
She said it's a super tough one. So let's see.
Awesome. So we got a on market 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot house listed at $349. Now it's been available for 52 days, which is going to tell me $349 is high. Also, it's only been viewed 618 times, which tells me, again, not a lot of eyeballs on this because this is priced very high. And it also might mean that Dallas, Georgia isn't a great market to be doing wholesale deals in. So I just want to really quickly check, what's the population of Dallas, Georgia? I didn't even know there was a Dallas in Georgia.
I know. I thought I was being slow again.
Oh my gosh. Look, guys, the population of Dallas, Georgia is 13,000. So it is a rural area. They're calling it a northwestern suburb of Atlanta. So it's about 40 miles outside of Atlanta. I think you could still call it part of greater Atlanta. So I'm not mad at it. I think this is an area that probably has some decent activity in it. This is built in 1929. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. See if we can find any more details on it. Listed in May at $375, and in October they reduced it in 5 months. Oh my God, it's been on the market longer than 52 days. This has been on the market quite some time. Didn't sell at $375. They lowered to $350. It doesn't appear these guys have a lot of motivation. I bet you that this is over ARV. Now let's see. All right, there's our subject. What do we have around? It's got a big piece of land. So you got a 230 sale here, but it's an older sale. I don't really love using it. So we won't. We're 2,000 square feet. This is on the other side of the highway. Also, looks like this might be an even newer build. Let's see, what's the year of construction of this? 2017. So not for us. Can't use that. I'm going to have to stay on this side of the Villa Rica Highway. But that does tell us we're north of 230. So I got to look for, possibly a 300 sale here. What's this 375? Ooh, there's one. Let's see when this was built, though. This also looks like newer construction. 96, and our subject was built in 29. Ugh, can't use it. Cannot use that. Build 2021. Very tough one. Very tough one. It's
I'm
okay.
so sorry, Jamil.
No, we'll figure it out. There's always an answer. '95 build. See if there's anything here that's older construction like this. (2004). We might just be looking at raw land over here because it seems to me that everything that they've got here, they've been knocking down and they've been rebuilding. This is from 88. Again, guys, we're 1929. '96. All right, I'm going to take this over to batch. What's the address again?
I can pull it up right now. It's 4948 Villa Rica Highway.
Everything is new. Everything here is new. Newer. They've got nothing from 1929 that we can use. What I'm going to say then is that you very likely are looking at just pure land value on this house. I don't think that this house being built in 1929 and seeing what's been happening in the neighborhood, my personal opinion is this would be one that you would probably want to demolish and rebuild. So what you want to do is you want to look at what is the value of a property once it's been rebuilt. So now looking here, if you built a 2,000 square foot house on this size of a lot, let's just see the total size of this lot here. One moment. 1.4 acres, which makes sense. You can build $500,000 house, it appears, right? So when we're going to extrapolate to find out what would the land value of this be, if you can build a $500,000 house, I would typically go with 33% of that. So 500K times 0.33. I would probably be wanting to buy this at about 175 to 180 range. Now, just based off of its square footage and its age, I think honestly that's going to be the play here as a remodel. Considering what I've seen in the area, I wouldn't. If I was looking at this just to remodel the house, I wouldn't give these guys higher than a $200,000 offer if you're going to look at it as a remodel, and if you're going to look at it as a demolish and rebuild, 185 depending on the condition, 175 to 185 depending on the condition of the house. So about 200K. Between 175 and 200K depending on the condition. If it's remodelable, I'd go 200. If it's a full demolish and rebuild, I'd go 175.
Jamil, I saw Michelle, the one who sent this address, say in the chat that it was in great condition and something about buy and hold.
Buy and hold?
I think so.
Okay.
I took a picture of it.
I don't necessarily think that would be a real buy and hold at that price. I mean, again, the condition, if you say it's in great condition, is probably going to be let me stop this screen share. If it is in great condition and you can do a cosmetic remodel, it's possible that remodeled that house could be worth 300K, but there's no comps. There's no comps from 1929 that are going to justify an ARV of that kind of a number. I don't see how this turns into a buy and hold. An investor's going to look at this and say, there could be value here, but where is there anything from 1929 that I can use to justify a value? And so for me, I wouldn't myself be buying a house like that. Cool. What's next?
Alrighty,
we got 200 people on here.
Yeah.
And Reginald Abdul Wahid Holmes. I don't know why you're angry, but I'm sorry.
I know I saw that. I don't know what happened. Okay. Next one is in Texas.
Okay. We got to use batch for Texas.
Yep. Victor said rezoned to residential, A5. Gonna blast it for 215K.
Sloan Johnson just said that it is a tear down. That area is all new construction. Then thank you for confirming that, Sloan. Then you don't want to be paying more than 165, 175 for that lot. Awesome. All new development. So I knew that that's where that was going. I don't think that house could be salvaged from 1929. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense for the area. Cool.
I love it. I'm glad we figured that out.
On to the next one. What's the address?
Alrighty. 1901 Cooks Lane in Fort Worth, Texas.
1901 Cooks Lane, Fort Worth, Texas. Is this raw land? Looks like it.
Yep. Oh, it is?
Yep. Looks like it's a 2.922 acres out in Fort Worth. So we're going to take a look at what houses nearby are selling for, and that'll tell us approximately where we need to be on our offer on this one.
Victor said part of it is a flood zone.
Okay. Well, you've got a sale here at about 290 on a property. You got this doesn't make sense. These are all 70s build, and so interesting because you've got this little piece of 3 acres in a flood zone. It would need some high level of grading, but 300,000 looks like what these houses would sell for once it's been constructed. So what I would say is you'd want to be buying this at about, considering that it's in a flood zone, I would say probably 25% of 300K. So if I'm you, I'd be offering them 75,000 for the land. Yeah, flood zones, hard to get insurance, hard to get financing on that. I wouldn't be higher than 75K on that piece. Cool, cool.
Yep, I got another one.
Okay.
Okay, this one is in Illinois.
Ready when you are.
1428 South 21st Avenue in Maywood, Illinois.
1428 South 21st Ave, Maywood, Illinois, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 775 square footer. Looks like a little cottage style bungalow. But it looks to be in fairly decent condition. They do have some upgraded flooring in here, but kitchen is semi-dated, so it could use a remodel. Okay. Cosmetics. This has been available for 3 days. So it is a fresh new listing. 828 views in 3 days, not significantly great. So that does tell us that maybe this 99.9 is a little bit high. Built in 1924, and it is 775 square feet. Let's see what the comps are showing us. Damn. Right next door, you got a remodel at 190. It closed in 2020, but it is about 400 square feet larger. But that does tell us that there is some value here. Let's see if we can find something closer to our size. And there we have it. Wow. 175. Now they did develop the basement a little bit here. Nothing significant. They just put some flooring down. But 175 is it. The ARV is 175. So what do you need to offer on this? 175 is your ARV. We are in Maywood, Illinois. I'd say you probably need to be probably about 55% of that. I'd be at about 90K on this, and they're selling it for 99. I think there's a deal there. I'd chase that one.
Oh yeah.
Go offer him 90K. John Johnson asks, what if my subject property and my comparable are both fronting a major road? then you don't need to make any adjustments. Then your comp had already made the adjustment for being on the major road, so then you don't need to subtract anything, John. The adjustment was already made. And guys, I just want to remind you to squat up in the comments. There's 200 of you here live, and I'm sure that some of you are in the same market. So this is a great opportunity for you to work with other people in your area, to do deals, to help sell deals, to JV. So guys, let people know where you're from and squat up with each other in the comments. That is a great way to network. What's next?
I took a picture of it because this chat is just blowing up. Okay, this one is in Florida.
Okay. Hold on, I'll just share my screen.
Yep.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
Okay, address is 1021 Bernice Road, Bernice, and that's in Rockledge, Florida.
(1021) Bernice Road, Rockledge, Florida is active on the MLS. It is listed since December 14th, 2021 at $210,000. Batch's value estimate on the property is $179,000. Looking at the photos on the MLS, this house is dated and definitely needs some love. We've got a 1962 build, 1543 square foot, 3-bedroom, 1-bath house sitting on a 10,454 square foot lot. So 1543 square feet, 1962 build, no pool, has a carport. Let's see what it's worth. Lots of comps. Lots of comps. Okay, so we got a larger property, 2,000 square footer that sold for $235. What's this 330? Let's see this. 79 build, but it's much larger, but it's a full remodel. Okay. See if there's anything in the high twos. Anything in the high twos. Here is a 238. Also, but it's from 2020, so that's not going to help us. What's this 310? So this one takes us to about 275. Is there anything else here? In fact, I'm going to actually do the dollar per square foot adjustment because I might be off here. One moment, guys. 310,000 divided by 1872. Sorry, that takes us to about 260, guys. 260. That sounds more like it. Let's see if I can find any other evidence here. For a 260. I think that's it. So 260 is going to be your ARV. So if 260 is your ARV and we are in, where are we? In Rockledge, Florida, you probably want to be at about 65% of that. So I'd be offering these guys 170. They're listed at 210, but they've been available for some time. I'd give them an offer of 170 and see what happens.
What you feeling? You want to keep comping or answer some questions or what?
Let's get some questions.
Let's get some questions, guys.
Alfredo's got a great question here. He was told that when there are no comps to be found, that you should go to Zillow and offer 65% of Zestimate. What are your thoughts on that? So Alfredo, here's my belief, right? If there's no comps in an area, then that tells me that there's not a lot of investor activity in that area. If there's no investor activity in the area, then that's not necessarily a deal that I'd want to lock up, because that tells me that there's not going to be a tremendous number of buyers ready to take that deal. So is it worth a try at 65% of Zestimate? Sure. But here's the thing. I think that it's better to be honest with the homeowner and tell them that you may not be able to do a deal here, because you're very unlikely to sell that deal, Alfredo. And I would way rather you spend your time and energy in areas where there's plentiful comps, where there's a lot of evidence to prove your narrative that you're trying to sell to a buyer on a house. And so I would just suggest that you stay away from areas where you can't find comps. I personally, as a fix and flipper myself, I would never buy a house if I couldn't see an ironclad comp to prove what my potential was. Does that make sense? I hope it does, brother. Again, if you can't find comps in an area for a specific type of house, for me, not worth working. I carry on and keep looking for the next one. What's next?
Oh, here's a good question. Can you explain the repair costs, such as the amount to use for the medium repairs and hard repairs?
Great question, Roger. So the way that I teach it in astro flipping is to go a percentage of ARV, and that percentage of ARV changes depending on whether it's a cosmetic remodel or a full gut remodel. And it also adjusts depending on the kind of market we're in. If we're in a high appreciation, high demand market, it's a higher percentage of ARV. If it's a low appreciation, low demand market, it's a lower percentage of ARV. I personally don't think that it's our job as wholesalers to give repair estimates. Again, the price of construction is fluctuating so drastically right now, with material costs going through the roof, with labor shortages all across the country. It's very difficult to determine. But I'm going to give you guys some basic numbers, okay? And again, these numbers are going to change. So if you are in the middle of a fix and flip and your numbers don't reflect this, I'm sorry. But here's what I've seen. Cosmetic remodels have gone up to around $40 a square foot. Okay, that's just cosmetics. Okay, so if you got a 1,500 square foot house and you're only doing cosmetic upgrades, it's going to cost you $60K. Cosmetic is about $40 a square foot. Okay, full gut is running around $60 to $65 a square foot. So you got a 1,500 square foot house and you've got a full gut remodel, that's going to run you around $90K. $90K. Okay, so $40 a square foot for cosmetics, full gut running around $60. The best way to comp land, great question, Paul. It depends on what kind of land we're talking about. Are we talking about land that's in the middle of a city where there's a lot of action? Are you talking about where you knock down an old house and rebuild a new house? Or are you talking about land that's out in the outskirts of the city, in the boonies, that kind of land? There's two different types of land. So if we're talking about land that's in the city where they're knocking down old construction and then building new construction, the way that I comp it is I take how much the new construction price of a house is selling for, and I take 33% of that to tell you what I should pay for the land. Now, if that raw land is on the outskirts of town, so if it's out in the boonies, you want to be at about 20 to 25% of what the new construction cost would be for that piece, for the property on that piece of land. So let's just say a house would sell for 300,000 out in the outskirts of town over there, and you're gonna pay about 20 to 25% of that. So you take about 20% of 300, so you want to pay about 60 to 75,000 for the raw land in that circumstance. I hope that made sense, Paul. 20% if you're on the outskirts, 33% if it's in the middle of what we call infill land, where they knock out an old property and then construct again new. What's next? Ooh, I like this question. Any adjustment if a property is near an airport? Woohoo! Great question, Jason. So yes, will there be a, an adjustment for the noise of an airport? Absolutely, absolutely. It's something that when you're doing a seller disclosure form, they ask you in seller disclosure forms whether or not your property is subject to any air traffic noise. So air traffic noise absolutely affects value. Here's how you adjust or how you comp that. Jason, you can only comp it using properties right near it. Same flight path. Okay. So what I would typically say is if I'm comping a house that's near an airport, I'm not going to go farther than 2 or 3 streets away from my subject property. Okay, quarter mile at the most. Quarter mile. Okay, so you're not going to make an adjustment. Because the reason why is you're not going to take a comp from half a mile or a mile away and then adjust for the noise. You have to use comps in the exact same area or the same flight path of where your subject property is. That's how you'll determine how much the adjustment is for that specific area or for that specific flight path. Anything? What's next?
I had one more address if you want to do one more.
Let's do it.
Okay, this one is in Kentucky.
Oh, and by the way, guys, if any of you guys are in need of a proof of funds, Emily, how do people get access to a proof of funds?
Email flipfundllc@gmail. We are building out a website to make it more seamless, but this is where you can get it for right now.
flipfundllc@gmail.com, guys. If you need a proof of funds, we got your back. Flipfundllc@gmail.com. All right, what's the address?
Okay, this one is in Kentucky. And I have the address whenever you're ready.
Okay.
2924 North Bend Road. And that's in Stanton.
Oh my gosh. No info. Let's see if we can find some more on Zillow.
Oh, somebody asked this. Is comping near an airport similar to comping near active train tracks?
Yeah. I think this is just raw land.
They didn't give me much detail other than fresh, hot leads, so I was super excited. Oh, she says 4-bed house.
There's not enough information here on the records to give us any detail about it. It's not showing us the size or anything of that nature. So if you can give us some details about it, we can help. But without that, it's impossible. You got another address, Sam?
Oh yeah, we got plenty. We'll go to Virginia.
Okay.
There's a duplex.
Well, I need the rents.
That's very true. We need the rents. Okay. We'll go to Phoenix.
Okay.
4819 West Palm Lane.
Lovely. We've got, I would imagine, a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2247 square footer in West Phoenix. The Zestimate on this is $292,000. I can already tell you that's low. I can tell you for a fact it's low. Let's see what it's worth. So we had over 2,000 square feet. So we're north of 320. We're north of 340. We're north of 370 because we're over 200 square feet larger than this. Let's see if we can even hit 400K. It doesn't look like this area wants to touch 400. But that 370 there, that's the juicy one right there. So I'm going to call this a 390 ARV. 390 ARV. 390 ARV. Whoever has that deal, if you want to sell it to me, I'm a buyer if it's the right price.
I mean, who could turn that down?
Amazing. How fun. This was great.
It was awesome.
Guys, we appreciate you tuning in. We will be back every single Sunday doing this. Straight out of Compin. These are, it's fun. We have a good time running comps with you guys, remembering that understanding value is the key to your wholesale business success. Guys, remember to squad up with each other and join Pace tonight on Sunday service if you are available. He will be doing Sunday service in 55 minutes. But be well, guys. Happy New Year. We're so glad that locked it up at 262. Hey, is that Chris who sent that out? Chris, was that Chris's deal?
The last one, yes.
Tom? Chris.
Yeah, I believe so.
Chris, email me. Jamil at astroflipping.com. Jamil at astroflipping.com. I'm going to put it in the chat. Chris, I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer for that deal. Jamil at astroflipping.com. Send me that deal. Let's make it. Let's get it done. There you go. I might even have just bought a house on Straight Outta Compin, guys. This is why we do this. We love you so much. We will see you again next week.